it's Sherry. Welcome to my channel, Canterbury Cottage. Today I'm going to be showing you 10 things that I recently purchased at Goodwill. And then I'm going to show you the process that I go through to transform all of those 10 items into beautiful home decor to sell in my retail space or to keep for myself. Sometimes if I love something, I keep it for my own house. I don't show the final transformations until the end of the video, so I hope you'll stick around for the whole thing. Okay, let's get started. So this is the thrift haul that I will be working with in today's video. I have this large oval framed botanical that I got for $1.99. I absolutely love large, round, and oval frames and almost always pick them up, especially if they are solid wood like this one. I got this large wood vase for $5.49, which is actually pretty pricey, I think, but it is a really nice solid wood vase. I got this white canister for $1.99. This somewhat tacky bunny rabbit was also $1.99, but I have a really unusual idea that I want to try out on this rabbit. So I am eager to see how it turns out. I also purchased this bunch of magnolia flowers. These were $3.99, but for nice silk flowers, I think that was a pretty good deal. I purchased this stick lamp for $3.99. It is solid wood. I almost always pick up lamps that are wood because you can turn them into candlesticks or you could leave them as lamps. Either way, they look great once they are painted. I purchased this vintage frame with this rather hilarious picture inside. I just really liked the skinny aged vintage black frame, and it was only 99 cents. I purchased this wicker basket for $1.49. I just really liked the rustic texture of it. And then you might remember this piece from a previous video. It was $4.99, but the orange tags were 50% off, so I actually got this for $2.50. I know most people will pass by anything that has this 1990s heart cut out of it, but if there is a way to cover it up or eliminate it altogether, then I will consider the piece. And this is actually really cute. At the bottom it has a little drawer, a place for a notepad, a place for a pen or a pencil. So I have a couple ideas for how I might transform this. You might also remember this wagon from previous video, and I thought that it was actually a really solid, well-made piece, and then when I was picking it up, it literally fell apart. There was no wood glue used at all, just a few, as you can see, these little tiny brad nails is all that was holding it together.
I'll also be upcycling this $2 cutting board. Many people see the sealed brown paper on the back of a professionally framed piece of art and think that it is extremely difficult, if not impossible, to change out that piece of art, when in fact it is actually rather simple. All you need to do is cut or tear the brown paper off to reveal the staples or tacks that are holding the mat and art in place. Because I like this botanical print, I am removing it from the dated mat to reuse in a different frame. I repeat the process of cutting off the back paper and bending up the staples on the back of the antique black frame. It occurs to me that the botanical print might look nice in this antique black frame. So I use the piece of glass as a guide to cut down the print so that it will fit in the antique frame. Before painting the oval frame, I give it a good cleaning with Goof Off household cleaner. This is different and much milder than the original Goof Off product. I paint the oval frame with 2 coats of Rust-Oleum's chalk paint in linen white. Once the paint is dry, I distress the frame by using medium grit sandpaper along the edges. Using the cardboard backing from the frame as a pattern, I trace out an oval onto chalkboard paper. I bought mine at Dollar General. After I cut out the oval, I cover the back in Elmer's Craft Bond glue stick. I then adhere it to the cardboard, smoothing out any wrinkles. I then replace the cardboard oval into the frame and press down the staples to hold it in place. I measure for the letters of a decal that I want to make on my Cricut machine. If you don't have a Cricut machine, you could get a similar effect with stickers or a paint stencil. I reattach the paper backing using glue stick to cover up the staples and give it a more finished look. I also reattach the sawtooth hanger using 2 small screws. I am loving the trend of using cutting boards as kitchen decor, but this little bamboo board is not very interesting. To create a more interesting handle shape, I fold a piece of paper in half. I draw and cut out this new handle design. I trace around the pattern and then cut along the lines using a jigsaw. To add additional interest, I paint around the handle using some green chalk paint. To create a clean line, I take off the painter's tape before the paint is completely dry. I decided I wanted the wagon to be the perfect size to hold the basket, and so I needed to cut down the base and the 2 side pieces. Once I had cut the pieces, I reassembled the wagon using wood glue and the brad nails that were still sticking out of all of the edges. I added some additional nails for extra sturdiness. I painted the body of the wagon with Rust-Oleum white chalk paint. I painted the wheels in black chalk paint. I cut down the wheel supports to the new width of the wagon and reattached them using small nails. I distressed the wheels with sandpaper and then reattached them to the wheel supports using small screws. I also distressed the wagon with medium grit sandpaper. I measured the side of the wagon to determine the size of a stencil I wanted to make on my Cricut machine. After removing the letters, I applied the remaining vinyl to the side of the wagon. I used a pouncer to apply 1 coat of black acrylic paint. I removed the vinyl when the paint was just barely dry. Before spray painting the ceramic rabbit, I covered its eyes with painter's tape and used an X-Acto knife to cut around the edges. Bullseye spray primer is amazing. It covers just about everything in just 1 coat. I decided to use paper napkins to decoupage the ceramic canister and the rabbit. To do this, you'll need to tear apart the 2 plies of the napkin using only the top pattern part. Cover the item that you are decoupaging completely with a thin coat of Mod Podge. Begin applying the napkin to the Mod Podge, reapplying Mod Podge as needed as you go. Smooth it out and try to avoid wrinkles, but you will not be able to avoid all wrinkles. It is just impossible. For larger items, you will need more than one napkin. For small items, tear off little pieces of napkin to create a design you like. To seal the piece, go back over everything with another coat of Mod Podge. On the rabbit, some spray paint seeped under the tape on the eyes, and I needed to touch them up with a Sharpie marker. On the small desk, I hammered out the small shelf and heart design at the top. Using a scrap piece of wood, I created a shelf to go across the top back of the desk portion. I used a piece of leftover paneling that I had to create a back for the little desk. I painted the piece of paneling with 3 coats of chalkboard paint. If you're going to write on it, chalkboard paint is better than chalkboard paper. I was now ready to start painting the small desk. As with the wagon, I used Rust-Oleum's linen white chalk paint. When the paint was dry, I attached the little shelf that I had created. To add some rustic charm, I replaced the top shelf with a piece of old fence post, and then lightly distressed the entire piece. I centered and attached the knob to the drawer and attached the chalkboard backing with a staple gun. For the wood lamp and vase, I start by cleaning them really well and removing all the stickers. I use a couple squirts of Goo Gone, let it sit a few minutes, and the sticker peels right off. I wrap the base of the cord with a small piece of painter's tape to protect it from the paint. I apply the chalk paint using a large artist's brush. I repeat the process on the wood vase. Both the lamp and the vase needed 3 coats. Once the paint was dry, I lightly distressed the edges of both the lamp and the vase with a medium grit sandpaper. After first applying a coat of Minwax paste wax, I decide to use some Waverly antiquing wax on the lamp. I don't want the lamp to be too dark, so after applying the antiquing wax, I wipe most of it off. By applying another coat of the Minwax paste wax, I'm able to rub even more of the antiquing wax off. I have a lampshade that I had previously purchased for $1.99. It's about the right size for the lamp, but it's just a bit short, so I add some fringe that I purchased at Walmart to give it some extra length. It attaches easily with a little hot glue. To create a decal for the vase, I take a piece of regular tissue paper and tape it to a piece of cardstock. I can then run it through my copier like a regular piece of paper. I apply Mod Podge to the area where the decal is going to go. I then carefully apply it, trying to avoid any wrinkles. Once I have the decal smoothed out, I go over it with a coat of Mod Podge to seal and protect it. The last step was the easiest. I just needed to clean the flowers. I did this by spraying them with a silk plant cleaner, which is available at Hobby Lobby or Walmart, and then I laid them on a towel to dry. I really loved making this video. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned something new. I have to tell you that I am totally going to be keeping my eye out for ugly ceramic rabbits. I absolutely loved my decoupaged rabbit, and I really want to try that again using different patterns of napkins. Please leave a comment below and let me know what your favorite project was. Hope to see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye for now.